Hello my friends, frenemies, I am Tim. Once again, I'm not alone, I'm here by myself. Today I have a brand new video for you guys. Today I have an interesting idea, theory, not theory honestly. It's more of something that I want Steam, or just in general all game communities, to add to just gaming. And I think this will change gaming way more than just the Steam Deck. I think this is going to change gaming in general, and it's going to be probably the biggest, newest way to game, and it's going to be nice and good for your pockets. Anyway, today I have something that I would like to introduce to y'all called Steam Community Share. What Steam Community Share would be is basically an open library of everyone's Steam accounts that, of course, apply for it. For everyone's Steam accounts, they can share their games. Now what this means is that basically it's equivalent to family share on Steam instead of everyone's connected to it. Now there is a couple of things about this. I don't know if they can do this legally, or if there's like a contract or whatever about sharing that many games from every user. Now, if they had to break it into certain parts or fragments to try to make it a little bit more balanced or something, then okay. But I also think that in order to share games, to give someone your account is a bit much. You know, like that's a lot of trust to give someone your account, especially if they can cancel your Steam Deck, like especially right now, and when they can cancel your Steam Deck, like nah, I don't like that. But you know, basically, I think that this would be an easier way for people to share their games. Now, on PlayStation, as some of you may or may not know, is that if you have a primary account on your PlayStation and then you have a secondary account, basically, they can play the primary account's game on their account. And the other person who has the original primary account can still play those games at the same time, which is cool. Instead of that's literally splitting one game into two, which makes less legal sense to me than actually, you know, sharing one copy of the game. Now, what I think would be great for this feature is that basically rules, because without rules, people are just gonna leave the game running and no one's gonna be able to play that copy of the game. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of Steam users out there, and I think probably if this launched, it would have like 20,000 day one, 20,000 users on it. And maybe I don't think they would limit it, but I think they would put in sanctions, 20,000 per. So unless you're a part of that group with the 20,000, you would have to try to switch or swap a server with someone else, or go to a completely new server or something like that. I think that would be an interesting, unique way to try to make it so you don't literally have the entire library, or there's way too many games. Now, if you end up in a server with someone with like 3,000 games, and you know the majority of people there have like around 3,000 games, then yeah, you're kind of set. But that's just because I think there might be a legal problem with this. But if there's not, then one server, share all the games would be great. Now, a couple of rules that I thought of for this is, what should be there is you can't stay on the game longer than 4 hours a day. Now, I think this should go for one game, not every game, but one game. You can't stay on a game longer than 4 hours. Now, some of you may know, if you do family share on Steam, that there's a feature that's going to kick you out if they get on it after 5 minutes of playing. So if you're on that, or yeah, if they get on it and 5 minutes pass, then it's going to kick you off. So I think that there should be a 4-hour timer, and if it's on the Steam Deck, it'll be on the top, just like on the Steam desktop. It'll be like on the bottom right, kind of is where they show it sometimes. But yeah, so I think that would be a good way to try to balance this out and try to keep the legal contract, if there is any, for this to stay good on there. And I think 4 hours is long enough. They might even do 5 to play a game you don't have for free. And they could keep the family share feature when you can play as long as you want. Another thing is, games you already played should have cooldowns for 12 hours so others can play. So yeah, after you get kicked out of 4 hours, and you know, if you don't use your 4 hours, then it resets after 12 hours. Basically, it's going to have to make it so you can't play for at least 12. I think a bit longer might be best. But yeah, you can't play it for at least 12 hours because if that game is popular and it's being shared by multiple people, not a lot of people are going to be able to get their hands into playing it. And also, if they really enjoy the game and they're playing it longer than 4 hours, then I do think that they are going to want a way so they can just buy it. And that's when people will just buy the game. And then they can share it whenever they're done playing it. I can think of a lot of games like Castle Crashers or other games like that where people don't play anymore, but a couple of people are thinking about buying. And just being able to play it right away and download it and then play it for 4 hours and then maybe wait and play it for another 4 hours. It's like, dang, I really like this game. You know what? I'm gonna just play it. And some people might use the Steam community share feature for just limiting for how long they play games. They never buy a game and they just use the community share feature so they can play the game for 4 hours a day. Which, you know, I mean, hey, 4 hours, go outside, get water, you know, whatever. You know, and then the next day or 12 hours if you're still awake, just play the game again. Or, you know, just go to the next game. Especially if you only play like 3 or 4 games a day or whatever. I think that's a good way to play it. And some games people don't even play for 4 hours long. Now, another thing about this feature is that it's also the same as Steam Family Share, where not every single game can be shared. Not every game is compatible with the Family Share. The same goes for this. I'm pretty sure games like Call of Duty Black Ops and big online games like that aren't compatible. So you're still going to have to pocket down those, but that's a lot less than what you would have to pocket down for a lot of these other games, especially the single player games. Another thing is you cannot use the Steam Community Share offline. Now, this is something that I think is probably going to be the biggest struggle for Valve to try to develop, because for certain games, if you have them on Steam and you downloaded it and you try to launch it offline, it will honestly let you, at least for the Family Share games. You're able to just launch these games offline or whatever, and if you have it downloaded, because, you know, that's, I think if you're offline for a certain amount of time for too long, then it will remove it, but I don't know how they keep track of that unless you, like, if you just never go online again. But I guess if their account is no longer shared anymore, then if you're offline, it thinks that it is and it keeps you there. But whenever you go back online, which eventually I would assume you gotta get back online, right? Unless you're just living that offline life. But yeah, so as soon as you get back online, it will be removed as soon as, you know, that happens. But I don't know. That's a whole other situation where I hope there's no way to bypass it, because it would kind of break the system and make everyone basically just be playing games for free, which is somewhat of the idea here, but they would need to be shared in order for it to legally make sense, at least to me. The fourth and final rule is they need to have spent $60 on Steam before using it. I was thinking of making it more, or just making it they need to buy a certain amount of games, but Steam, you can't add people as friends until you at least spend $5 or $10. I think it's $5, but you can't even like use the basic Steam features until you spend like $5. So this is why I think, alright, you gotta spend $60 on Steam before you can use this feature. It makes sense, and I also think that they could use the point system as well for this feature, because if you buy games, you know, and then there's more games you want to play, maybe if you use your point system of the games you bought, you can put more time into the game, more hours into the game, because if the default is 4 hours, you can use your Steam points and add 30 more minutes, or, you know, whatever be the case, so you can play it a bit longer. Or it could all solely be focused on using Steam points. Now, I know a lot of the Steam points are used for your profile pictures and, you know, your desktop and stuff like that, which is fine. Some other people don't really care about that stuff, so they can easily just use their Steam points for stuff like that. And I think that's really going to make people want to get more Steam points. I also think the level system in Steam should also give you Steam points. I think Steam points need to be used a bit more and give to users a bit better, so that we can use it for other things other than just avatars and animated pictures, which are great, by the way. I like those on Steam, but I do think that they could definitely evolve that ecosystem of Steep points. Anyway, it was a pretty long video-ish. It's like 10 minutes. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. Tell me what you guys think down below about this idea, and see you on the flip side.